Hey, Greg here. Just a bit of context before we jump in. What you're going to see is our meeting from Friday where we review all of the software engineering related things, kind of like a team stand-up. Before we get into that, if you're interested in joining us this summer, you can hop over to ohack.dev, go to the summer 2026 volunteer internship, scroll down, and apply as a hacker. Then you'll join us with all of these hackers, and then we have all of these mentors who are joining us from industry. You can see them over here. And we're trying to build two projects for two separate nonprofit problem statements. So there's WIAL, where we're trying to operationalize a hackathon project from the springtime. And then we're also trying to do something for nonprofit client case management, kind of like a CRM, a very inexpensive CRM. So if you're interested, please hop in and do that. Now let's get back to the meeting on Friday where we talk with Archana, who is a PM, volunteer PM, and we have some software engineers, and then myself kind of emulating the engineering manager role. See ya.
So I want to go over how to set up a developer environment first. To do that, the easiest thing to do is, let me pop open a browser and O3, yeah. So go to GitHub, and then obviously I'm going to grab this and I'm going to grab this link and I'm going to clone that. So I've already done a git clone. So if I go into, I usually have a dev folder with all my stuff in it. And then I already have an O3 nan possible, which is where I did my git clone at. So then I'm in this directory. And since I've never seen this code, I'm assuming I've never seen this code before. The first thing I do is I just open it up in VS Code. So this is my VS Code. So whenever I closed it, it saved whatever I had open. So if I close this stuff, the first thing I do is I go read the README. And I don't know, in VS Code, this little key button here translates the README into like readable marked. So this is markdown, and then you can actually read it here. So the thing I'm looking for is anything about how to actually get started. So there's a getting started guide. And here it talks about how to clone it and how to npm install. And then down here it talks about this environment file .env.local, which is pretty common. And then these API keys, and then how to run it. And then you go to there, and it has all the commands. And likely this was already generated by AI. But so what I will do is I will actually try to do this. So I'll just go new terminal, and then it takes me to this area, and I will just do npm install and make sure I have all of the right packages. So that's this. And I already do. There's 11 vulnerabilities. There's 3 that are high. So we probably need to go look at that and actually update these vulnerabilities. So that's a good like side thing, Archana, is to go make sure we have another issue to just update vulnerable packages.
Yeah.
So once I do npm install, then I scroll down here, and ideally npm run dev just works. Let's see what happens. So it says that it's starting, and then it's ready, and that it's available over here. So if you, what did I do? I did option click, and then it opens it in a tab in VS Code, which I don't really love. So I'm actually going to put it in my browser instead, which looks like this. So this is great because this is, everything is running. The next thing I'll do is, this is just the front end. So let's see if the back end is actually working. So I go to sign in, and ideally, do I have anything saved? I don't think I have anything saved, but I do have in the doc, where is the doc at? Over here, I have those test accounts. So let's see if those test accounts work. So I'll just grab the platform admin one, and then grab the passwords, all those ones. Come back. Okay, go back over here to here. There you go. So it doesn't work. It says username and password not accepted, try again. So that means either my backend isn't wired up or it is wired up and like for some reason the password doesn't work. So let me go and just double check one more. So there's that one and there's this one. So this is validating that these don't work. So those don't work. So that's okay, because what happens is that if I go real quick and I go inspect and I go to network and I try to actually log in again with anything. There we go. So you don't see any errors here, but you just see password not accepted. So troubleshooting here, I go back to my VS Code. I see there's an error and it's sign in with password. So this kind of leads me to believe that something's going on here. So the thing that is going on is there's probably some backend setup that we missed right here. And this. And so all of these instructions point at, it says required SuperBase. So this is the backend database that I would need to get all of this going. There is no instructions on how to do that necessarily, on how to, like, I have to get these keys. So I do have this env example. This env example has some things in it already. And then I do have my local. So this is the one that should be working, but is not. It says SuperBase URL, and for some reason that does not look right. That should not be, that's actually what's right here. So for whatever reason, in my env.local, it's trying to use this 127.0.0.1, which is like the local host. So that's because whatever they put in here when they were doing the hackathon, they were using a Docker container, which I'm not using a Docker container right now. So this is the part that is missing that I don't really know. I actually, when I set this up a while ago, I actually asked Claude to figure this out. So I basically said, walk me through the steps to get this working so it works locally. And then in VS Code, in what is it called? What is this? VS Code has this like extension that's called, I forget, oh, Copilot. GitHub. So here, yeah. So here, I just said, like, tell me how to get this running locally. And that's exactly what I would expect anyone to do now in the AI world, is if you can't get this working, you're like, all right, Claude, how do I get this working? So I spent, you just saw like a minute or two, and they're like, all right, so there's probably something else. And what it does is it actually created env.local for me. It ran all of these other commands that were not in that document. Like it didn't, the README didn't really walk me through this. And then it also updated a USA and a Japan domain name for me. It did, yeah, it basically said, you know, something about, oh yeah, npm run dev to start. This is how you start it. And I just said, can you do that for me? And then it literally did all of that for me. And down here, now it's basically all running. So there's a bunch of steps, I guess, that the README did not have. And then right around here is where everything is now running, because it links to SuperBase Studio, to Next, and to SuperBase. So I think the interesting part here is that you're going to have code that you're going to see in your life, and you're going to have README files that you're going to see that aren't going to have all the right instructions, but Claude now can figure all of the stuff out. So that's the, I guess, the first learning. Second, like, hopefully I can get this up and running now. So the idea here is because this is a Docker file, there should be a Docker file somewhere. Next, SuperBase. Let's see. So all I have to do now, yeah, dev server is running, and then somewhere it should say it's checking status. Yeah, so it's running npx SuperBase start and stop, it looks like, to actually run it. So if I was a good citizen, I would actually just take this and update the README based on what I learned, but I forgot to do that because I was just trying to get this up and running. But let me see if I can actually do this again. So can you get this up and running again for me is all I will say. And then I'll see what happens here. And I'll kill my terminal over here so that it's not trying to run. Okay. Yeah, and it's like I didn't see any code changes, so I'm going to move straight to restarting SuperBase and the next dev server. And it's basically going into the directory. It's making sure there's no port 3000 is available because it's going to start the server on port 3000 and then should start. Hopefully. Oh, I have to allow it down here. npx SuperBase start is what it's running. So I have to allow. And then it's checking to see if that port's available, and I hit allow. And it's trying to run Y. So trying to hit the letter Y to actually start it. And then it's SuperBase is waiting on the npx. It's trying to print. It's trying to add the command Y into the SuperBase start. And set Y to terminal. So now it should be up and running. Let's go back. Still doesn't let me log in because, oh, it's opening Docker. So it's still not ready yet. All right, so it started Docker. Docker is ready now. Now it's going to start it. Great. Cool. It says it's mid start, so it's checking container health. And now should be. It's doing a curl command to validate that it's running. It says both processes are up. And now it says everything is up again. So the interesting thing here is because I'm running all of this locally, I can go to the studio, this, and now, let me get rid of all that. There we go. And now I actually can log in to SuperBase locally. So I don't need, this is all local, no, not over the internet. So now I can mess around with any of this and it won't mess up the production or the staging database, which is exactly what we want. So I'll go to table editor and I'll go to users and you'll see that this one is here already. So this is the only one that I have locally set up for me. So I will try to log in with that one. Back here. So that is my username, send reset link. Cool. So hopefully it'll send me an email with that. Let me check that really quick. Actually, it probably puts it in Actually, the easiest thing to do, I think, is to come back to users, authentication. Yeah, this one. And then here you can do reset password, send magic link. And then it should, I thought, actually let me reset the password. Doesn't it let you do that? I don't see it allowing me to reset password anywhere.
Can you not forgot password?
Say that again?
Forgot password on the browser?
Yeah, I think, oh, is this, what's the email address? Oh, just kidding. It's on my other email address. For that forgot password thing to work, you actually have to have email set up. And so if email is not set up locally, then sending the email will never work. It'll never get sent. So that's the trick there. I feel like the easiest thing for me to do is just to do create new user, and then I'll just make a new one. Greg plus new at ohack.org. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now if I go here, Greg plus new at ohack.org, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so now that works. So the idea here is new, let me make sure I save this. The idea is you go and create the accounts straight away in your SuperBase. And then once you create them, now you can actually log in. So I'm logged in. I'm logged in as, it looks like, as a default public visitor. And so the next thing to do is if I'm like trying to test out something with a specific role, I go into the database. Actually, I go to table editor and I change this public visitor to something else. So I'll change it to platform admin, and that should take effect in real time. And then if I refresh, now it changes it. Now I'm in platform admin. So now I can go and be a platform admin and test around my changes locally here. So one thing I want to do to validate that all of this will work in real time is I want to go to admin global. So I'm going to go change this page really quick just to make sure that any change I make here is reflected on the website before I get going. So is there actions? Where's actions at? So I usually go, yeah, so this word is actions. I found it in the code, and I'm just going to put a bunch of text here and make sure that it changes. So now I know that all of my code, whenever I make changes to my code in VS Code, will be reflected in this localhost website. Again, this website that changes here doesn't affect the one that we have running in staging or production. So now my entire development environment is ready to go. So with that, Archana, what I wanted to do is go to one of the issue tickets and kind of walk through that.
Issue 9 is a good one.
Nice. All right, let's look at issue 903 GitHub.
Do you want to go through the Kanban board though?
Yeah, sure. I think projects, Kanban, and then how do you easily find 9? Because it's really small numbers here. 9 is right here. Actually, let's just test to see if I can type in 9. Yeah, cool. So that works. Yeah, so it brings me up here to landing page content. So let's see. Archana, do you want to walk through this or you want me to do it?
I think you can drive.
Okay. So issue 9 talks about two kind of things. One is modifying the navbar content, which is over here. The screenshot is actually right here of this part. And the idea is just to remove it because this is sort of unnecessary and not needed. So that's first step. Second step is the navbar menu. So the navbar menu, which you'll see right here, all these, this issue is asking us to change them to be this: about WIAL, leadership, Better World Fund, and then it's actually about WIAL. That's number 1. Number 2 is certification. Number 3 is clients, partners, affiliates, and contact us. So at the end of like success of this issue is getting these 6 different navs instead of these to be represented like this. And then the old website, which is just wial.org, does have like these drop downs. And so for the first one, who WIAL is, so about WIAL is the name of the nav, then these would be the drop downs: leadership, Better World Fund, conferences, and awards. So I did want to like quickly go through how I would go make this code change as an example. So the first step to making this code change is I have to go find this code. And what I do is I look for unique strings. So find a coach, probably a unique string. So let's see what happens. So I go to VS Code, I do Command-Shift-F to search, and I type in find a coach. And thankfully, there's only 2 examples here. There's only 2 files. So either chapter hero or routing.ts. This one looks exactly like what would be in the navigation, and it literally says navigation items. So I know that that one's it. So just to make sure that that's true, again, I always just like throw a bunch of text in here, and I go back and I make sure that, yeah, that's definitely the code to change. So if I wanted to, the first thing here in this GitHub issue is to do about WIAL, which I don't think today we don't even have anything. Well, we have about WIAL right there. So if I want to move that to be the first one, that should be a pretty straightforward one, which is right here. So this is pretty straightforward. I think if I just move that to the first one, then it shows up first, right? That's pretty easy. But I just wanted to go over that quick example of how I would modify and then update nav. And then we already recorded how to get everything up and running locally, which is half the battle with doing software development. So we did that and we did that. Now the next step would be, I have 2 changes. So one of them is the one that I do not want, because this one is, let me get rid of that, and that is my junk text. So I don't want that one. So I'm just gonna, the easiest thing to do is I'll just hit revert block, and then I save on the right side, and then that page should go away. So now I only have 1 change, and that's the change where I switches the order. So the next step would be to actually commit this. So I'll say, what's the name of my issue ticket? It's number 9. So I'll go number 9, moved order of nav, commit, and then ideally, I'm in a branch. I'm in Pragyan's branch. Let's see what happens. Normally, I'm not in somebody else's branch. I should have checked that initially. But let's see what happens if I go back to here and I go back to GitHub over here. And right here, it says that branch had a push 27 seconds ago. I can then go look at it. And if that's my change, thankfully. And now it's asking, I want to merge from my branch into main. And I think main is the only one. Normally there's a main and a develop, but right now we just use main. Main is the actual like production website. So if I merge this in, if I hit create a pull request, and then you see my little number 9 actually links to the issue ticket, which is great. I think because I'm an admin, I can actually merge this without having to do anything. It's going to run some tests. It's actually going to deploy out to Vercel to make sure that works. Normally you would wait here. You would wait like, I don't know, 5 minutes, and you would make sure that it deploys, that all your tests are working correctly, somebody has reviewed your code, things like that. But for this case, I'm just going to merge it so that we can get this change merged. And now this is all done. Normally I would delete this branch because normally your branches only stay around for the feature you're working on. I'm gonna leave the branch alive because I think I still need to go check that out because Pragan was working on this before. But now this preview should be available. Yep. So my change is actually there in right at the top because it actually it's gone now because I merged it, but it publishes a temporary link or temporary deployment on Vercel, and then I can go check it out and make sure everything works before I actually merge it. So that is a whole walkthrough. And then if I go back to here, you will also see that my pull request was merged. Then that's because, again, I used that number #9 or number 9 when I submitted my pull request. All right, so I know we're a little bit over time, but I think I wanted to make sure we talked through all of this. Archana, is there anything else that, so we did a quick example, I set up development environment, anything else that you wanted to chat through? You're muted. You're muted. Oh, Amin's asking you could self-assign issues. Yeah, you can definitely self-assign an issue. So easiest way to do that, Amin, is if you just go to one of them. Oh, that one already is. Yeah, you just assign yourself right here. Go ahead, Archana, sorry.
Yeah. If we go back to the browser.
This.
Yeah. If, okay, for instance, there are some consistency and usability issues. Those are marked as P2. The first thing that we need to make sure is some of the pages have too much of a long scroll. So we have to manage the content in a way that we don't scroll too much. That was the first thing. The second is the real estate. Now, these, I think you have probably minimized it, so these boxes don't look big. But if you're on full screen, some of these boxes are taking too much of real estate, like active chapters, total chapters, even the heading font, global chapter options. If you are on a full screen, they look extremely big. So that was one.
And then the other thing I like to do real quick is I just go to the mobile view just to see how it looks. And the easy thing to catch here is like this open account thing overlaps. So there's some other UX bug there. And then I can change this to go, give me an iPhone 12 Pro and give me a 125% zoom. And you can kind of just make sure that everything looks good on mobile as well.
Are we supporting mobile devices?
Definitely. Yeah. Probably not the admin side. I mean, it would be great if the admin side was also mobile friendly, but yeah, we want to make sure that the public facing site is mobile first, does work for mobile.
Okay.
That's like kind of always a table stakes thing now for sure.
Yeah. 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 Especially in a full screen, it was looking like, way big. So this, I think, still looks much better if it is. Is there a specific screen size we are looking at? Yeah, specific resolution?
No, but like generally a front-end engineer would like just drag this, over.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like trying to make sure that this looks good versus like this, right? And like this is a pretty responsive site because it is able to handle my resizes relatively well. I'd be curious, Archana, what your resolution is on the screen that you had.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to give that to you. Yeah, this looks.
Yeah, this is ginormous. You should, the text is very, very large. We wouldn't want that at all.
Yeah, overall, I don't think we have specifications on how it should look, but it should look at least fairly appealing.
Yeah,
we don't need so much scroll. And again, the content is something that we would have to move from the WIAL.org website. So maybe it will probably be more relevant then. But regardless, we shouldn't have a long scroll.
Yeah. And my other cheat code is I actually go to Lighthouse on Google Chrome and I just check accessibility, and then I hit start scan, and then it'll run a scan on that site only looking for accessibility. All of these do matter, but accessibility is the one that tells you how your UX looks, how your UI UX looks. And it's meant, so this is 100% accessibility, which means it has all of these checks that it does and all of those pass. So that's at least a really good sign.
Cool. And a couple of other issues that I found was, again, if you look at these boxes, certification levels, 1 to 2 years renewal cycle, they don't need so much of real estate. So if there is a way we can, organize them to occupy lesser space, that would look much more appealing, and that will give room for other content.
Yeah. It looks like, so there's this account certifications, marketing certifications, and then there's this certification. I think to find this quickly, I would look at Global Certification Hub again, and I would say, like, if I want, so Certification Hub is what it's actually called. And so this is the entire page. This page, it looks like, is all like JSON, right? So this is all JSON. There's no formatting in this page at all. So the trick becomes, how do you find the code that uses this? And so in the world of Claude, I would literally go new session. I would keep it on Certification Hub. I would say this, I would copy this 1 to 2 years, and I would literally say, where's the code to change the size of this box? And I don't even care if spelling is wrong these days, because Claude will figure out exactly what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So this will actually go out using Copilot in VS Code, and it will go find the specific, I found the CSS for metric card, and it found it and identified it. It's in globals.css. So if I really wanted to, I could tell Claude to go fix this, or I could go here myself, and I can now start playing around with padding. So I would change this to 0, and that changes that padding. So I know that that is the right, that's the right area of code to make changes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And again, I don't think we have any specifications on how that should look, but if that can be organized, they don't even have to be one below the other. It could even be, sideways. I think the only interest is to see the stats. So yeah, it can be organized in any way it is visually appealing, in my opinion. And if you go to, let's try Find a Coach, I think, the place where we can list. Are you logged in as a platform admin? Okay, you are. Let's try Find a Coach.
Yep, I'm there.
Okay, let's scroll down.
Scroll down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keep scrolling. Register as a coach. Okay. There, if you do have, there is a place where it shows the list of coaches available. I'm not sure which page that is. But so then
this won't have any, because this is my local instance and I have not added any coaches yet.
Yeah, right. If you went to Chapter Stack, you would see a list of users. You could probably have 200 users, and we are scrolling all of them down.
Yeah, let's do that. Find a coach. Yeah. So there's one here.
Yeah, there is one here. If you had like 1,000 of them, then they would all come one below the other if you look.
Yeah, a bunch of cards. These cards.
Cards. We could show them in a grid view if needed. Any way we can, not scroll so much. Or
yeah.
And
how do they do it? How do they do it today? I think it's Find a Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how they do it today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely room for innovative approaches. Like real quick, just to use Ohack as the example here. So here, and then maybe go to one of the old hackathons like this, and then go to maybe mentors. So mentors, we show this as cards here. You can also switch it to like table view. So like this is going to take up a lot less real estate in tabular form.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one example.
Yeah. And there are, I think, other pages that show users when it comes to global admin. You will see a list of users. And that is a very similar situation. I'm not sure which link leads to that. I don't think it's our client.
You're saying
If you're signed in, it comes on the left. Yeah, if you do yourself as a global admin.
Let me see if I have it here. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, try
This-
users roles.
Yeah.
Same thing. You would have like hundreds and thousands of users, and all of them are coming as a card.
Yeah.
So it might be an opportunity to use a tabular view.
Definitely.
Or if you have any other suggestions on how we could present it, that might be better. But it is not practical for anybody to scroll 1,000 users.
Yeah. The card looks very like pretty for sure, but when you have more than like 5 users, then it's kind of out of control. Totally. So
True.
the table much better than the cards.
Yeah. And let's try to add a new chapter.
New chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then over here, let's start adding some names. Start adding maybe 1 or 2 fields, not everything. Okay. Yeah. Now try to save them with insufficient information.
Yeah. Please fill out this field for subdomain.
Yeah. So is it better to just give the mandatory field indicated by a star sign or something than us pressing and getting feedback later on all the time?
Yeah, you definitely want to indicate what's required so you don't have to discover what's required.
Yeah. It's just saving the number of clicks. And that could be consistently done where that format has to be consistently done wherever we are adding information.
Yep.
And the other thing I found was chapter lead email, something to do with that as well. Yeah, there are issues there.
Yeah, I forget what we call that one. Form, chapter. Yeah, it's probably this one. Worldwide look and feel. Cool.
Yeah, those are the main things. Just consistent use of tabular view for large amounts of data, indicating mandatory fields ahead of time. Yeah, I think that would be a good start. And reducing the font wherever we can, where it looks ginormous, and saving the real estate for informational fields.
Yep.
So those are the main pointers that I had.
Cool.
And yeah, over here, sign out not being obvious, like sign out is over here. And then we still have an open account on the top.
Yeah.
It doesn't indicate a signed in user.
Yeah, I don't even know what open account does. Let's see. When you sign out, oh, that only shows, yeah, when you're signed out, that open account doesn't show up. So that's kind of like unnecessary for sure. The open account just in general is unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not sure how we would want to word it. Do we want a separate issue for that, or should we add it to the same issue that had sign in logout not obvious? I think we have that issue already.
Yeah. Let me just grab a screenshot really quick. Let's see if that's there for logout. Yeah, there we go. So there's an edit here. what was that called? Open account. Open account button not needed. Cool. Save and then hit
How do they
edit.
register there?
Say again?
How do they register if they don't have one?
Let's see. Sign out. It looks like the way you register is you hit this need an
Okay.
account register here.
Okay, so we don't need that. Amin or Surgeon, do you have any questions until now? Do you get a sense of what we're trying to do?
Hi, Arshna. Yeah, I got to know about what we are trying to achieve and what are the bugs, and yeah, what are the fixes.
Yeah,
I'll go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is my first meeting. I just had a look at the GitHub issues section, and I totally understand what we need to fix, but I still need an overview of the website and how you are visioning it, so that if there are any room for better implementation or different kind of mechanism, I can share my inputs as well.
Yeah, I think the old legacy website is called WIAL.org,
Okay.
which I showed at some point. Yeah, this is the legacy website, WIAL.org. This is up and running. This is the production up and running website that they use today. There are many things that we don't need anymore. So we are getting rid of those. And the chapter stack website is, I think, the hackathon version, right, Greg?
Yeah. So there's the actual O3 NAN possible Vercel. That's the team that we were using their solution for. That's like the default Vercel DNS name, but because we use subdomains, we can't just use the default Vercel one. So I had to actually create another domain just called chapterstack.org. So this is the same website, right? Just a different DNS name. The reason I had to do that is because we have somewhere, yeah, you can see that we're able to create chapters for, let me log in really quick. We're able to create chapters for different countries, essentially. And so there's global, there's like the Nigeria one, there's Philippines. And to support that, you basically just put that subdomain there. And now you're in the Philippines, the chapter for WIAL in the Philippines. So that's sort of the, I guess, the nuance there, or like how we use the chapterstack.org.
Yeah, and Greg already went through how to get it on your local. So you'll probably be doing that, and I would be testing what is on chapter stack. Another thing we need to watch out for is WIAL.org. What you can access now is just the public facing site. You don't get to use the admin capabilities. They use that the admin is done with another tool called Brilliant Directories, which we don't have access to. So we are trying to get a lot of admin capabilities here, and that is accessed through RBAC. So eventually, the intention is to not have too many tools for an admin, everything integrated in the WIAL website itself, but accessible through RBAC. So you will see a lot of admin capabilities which you wouldn't see on the legacy site.
Okay.
And I don't know if you caught it at the beginning, but the way that you would go and like log in as different roles is I have my local host still up and running. So this is like the SuperBase local version.
Yeah.
You can just go into table editor, users, and then you can change this role. And then as you change that role, chapter admin, coach, public visitor, content creator, you just come back and refresh the page and you'll get that. You'll be using that role.
Is it possible for you to give me access to SuperBase database?
Yeah. So if you go back in the video, I'll make sure I splice this video up so everyone has like the key part. But basically, all of this runs locally. So that way you can make
Okay.
any changes you need to locally and then push it
Okay.
up, and then we'll have it in. Right now, we only have one production environment that's running chapterstack.org, but I'll set it up so we have a staging version and a production version.
Okay.
And whenever you're working, it would be best if you use the Kanban view and, pull the, yeah, can we see the Kanban view? And Greg has provided all of those links in that welcome page. So you should be able to access that. The Kanban view, it would be best if you start working on the issue, progress it to the right boxes. That way we would have an idea of who's working on what. That would be best. And yeah, you could also ping us on Slack if you have questions. I think Slack, it's that summer chapter, right, Greg? 2026 summer WIAL. That would be the best channel.
Yep. Generally, for just like process-wise, is you pick one that you want to work on, you assign it to yourself here, and then you kind of tell everyone if you're working on it, you move it to ready. Before you maybe you have questions about it, things like that. You need to understand the context more, and then when you're actively working on it, you move it to in progress. When you have it, when you have a pull request up and ready to go and you need it to be reviewed, it's in review, and then we'll check it out and we'll merge it and we'll move it to done. It's kind of the workflow.
Makes sense. Greg, you will be the one reviewing it, right?
Yeah, either me or Nicole. And then we'll bring in Archana and Jonathan as well. So what happens is when you do a pull request, it'll automatically deploy to Vercel with that temporary version. And so everyone can go check out your changes before we go merge it. So we meet on Wednesdays, actually, kind of like a product manager nonprofit. We meet on Wednesdays. We'll be reviewing those on Wednesdays and probably merging them in on Wednesdays.
Okay. Perfect.
You can ping us if you have questions or some of the requirements don't make sense.
Yeah. Let's see. So to go real quick, to go ohack.org, ohack.dev, go to this. So our team Slack channel is 2026 Summer WIAL in Slack.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Okay. I think so with that, let's take we'll meet every Friday, same time, and then we meet with a product group on Wednesdays. And so as you have questions, throw them in Slack for us, put them in the GitHub tickets, right, as it's needed, and then let us know if you need any help.
Perfect. Yeah, sure. Thank you so much.
Amazing. So happy to have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Likewise.
Greg, before we wrap up, are we ready for tests of other personas? Can I start adding those issues now?
Say that again? Test of other personas. What do you mean?
Personas meaning we did the global admin. We still have Malks, and we have so many other roles that I've not put any issues for yet. Are we ready to start putting issues for all of those roles now?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Then you'll start seeing more issues. And everything is prioritized as P0, P1, or P2. P0 being the topmost priorities.
Sounds good. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Greg.
See ya.
Where will the recording be posted, Greg?
I'll post it in Slack.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
And maybe we can add that on the welcome page that you've given us with all the resources.
Yeah. On the Google Doc with all the resources. This one? Yeah. That sounds good. I'll probably put it in today's date.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
everybody.
See you.
See you. Have a good weekend. Bye.